Peace on earth. Did that work? All right, here we go. Most people haven't even heard the expression spirit of the law. When I was a kid, I was informed as to what this expression means. No one today even has heard it. And actually, they think it's a contradiction in terms, for there is no spirit in law today. In fact, many times I see on the news or inferred communication, direct, sometimes inferred, but often direct, because the law states XYZ, we have to prosecute to the fullest extent of the law. That's not the way it used to be. If the spirit of the law was not upholding and putting forth morality and benefit to the community, if the spirit of the law was completely messed up, then people would say, and even police officers would say, certainly judges would say, this goes against the spirit of the law. This is contrary to the spirit of the law. And therefore, you're free to go. This is not even considered nowadays. Um, we're in such a police state that we allow a total forcefulness of the law, even when it makes no sense in consideration of morality and consideration of anything approaching logic. So we need to bring back the spirit of the law, and we need to make it so that mechanized bootlicking order followers don't have what they perceive as the provocative right to go forth with the law to the T because it says so, negating any spirit of the law. So this situation can come up numerous times in numerous individual circumstances. I'm not going to get into the individual specifics, but uh, uh, we all recognize it, and we need to bring back that expression, at least the recognition of what it means, because as it is right now, people don't even recognize that that's even a thing. We're so used to and accustomed to order followers beating us down, right? That we literally will allow, uh, transgression of morality in total just because, well, the law says so. Now, I bring up the duality of polarity of this idea, um, the law of spirit, and they're not necessarily um, related via the duality of polarity. However, the law of spirit is from where the spirit of the law idea comes from, of course, because the law of spirit essentially says that everything originates in the spiritual and intangible. So all levels of various spiritual teachings will put forth the idea that everything begins in spirituality, not in material world. Um, and so, of course, the spirit of the law, of course, originates in that because everything originates in the law of spirit. Uh, Most people in a bootlicking, order following environment will tend to be completely materialistic and obfuscate spirituality, whether it's through the appearance of their religiosity in some kind of monotheistic belief system, or whether it's through atheism. Uh, it's important to uphold the reality of spirituality, and not be materialist, because then we recognize that our actions ripple farther than we can even detect. Then we might come to the conclusion, as the cliched New York City cop did, who when he finally retired, smoked cannabis. He broke down in tears, realizing that all he did with his life was ruin other people's lives for enjoying a slight intoxication in a highly stressful environment. So more spirit of the law in our politics, and more law of spirit in our spirituality and our uh, exchange with individuals and institutions. The more people demand that our order followers out there go by the spirit of the law, not by the materialistic, uh, uh, most forceful edge of the law, then we'll all be better off. And certainly, if we could all see from where things originate, we'd be certainly. It's part and parcel. It's one goes with the other, in the sense that the less materialistic you are, the more you see that materials mean less, right? So materialism starts to mean less when you just give it a chance, actually, and then it really just completely unfolds, and you realize that what is valuable is intangible. And we all know this to be true with friends, and maybe not so much in Western culture, but family and our community. Those are all intangible. Relationships are intangible. Dreams are intangible. They start off as, anyway. So without getting into too much abstract there, whatever it is that we see as being important, it all begins in spirituality and unfolds in money and materialism and law, right? There's the universal law, and then there's man's law. And so when man's law is not only ridiculous but enforced in ridiculous ways, what happens to these laws? I mean, there's so many things that are still on the books that people basically wrote off because they were so ridiculous, right? And so spirituality always overwhelms legality in that sense, right? Like, you don't have to, uh, uh, you know, continue forcing the bathing suit rule that they had, right? Like, because it just got to be ridiculous. So anyway, there's any number of ways to look at it, but bring that out into the world. More people need to know that expression, and more people need to really contemplate that idea beyond it. So, peace on earth.